Hey everybody, Tamara here. It is my birthday weekend. I asked you guys on Instagram, on YouTube, and on my Facebook author page to give me some questions for which me to answer. And I am gonna answer them. That's it. That's the tea. That's what's happening in this video. You guys did such a great job with asking questions. I might not answer all of them because there's a lot and I don't know if you really want me to blather on for days on end. Thank you so much for having a little patience with me. I know that I am terrible at uploading stuff and I didn't get a lot of messages being like, what are you doing? Because I think a lot of you realize that it's my birthday weekend and I'm just enjoying myself. I spent most of my time not online this weekend and it was great, and I hung out a lot with my math guy and it's been a good time, so I'm very happy. Okay, so I'll get to answering these questions. Wendy Scribbles asked, what do you do when you're not writing? What do I do? Do I do anything? Writing takes up a huge portion of my time. I also read, but I haven't been reading as much because my reading tablet was an actual piece of trash. But I got a birthday tablet, so I'm gonna be reading more. I do a lot of YouTube. I do a lot of like puzzles and games that have some type of mystery aspect to them. And I inevitably do a lot of research on, most of the time, stuff that doesn't have anything to do with what I need to research. I just like it because I'm an actual nerd. Aphrodite Lee asks, why are you so awesome? You're sweet. How do you set goals? Do you plan out the year? Do you play it by ear? I set quarterly goals and I try to have goals that I will accomplish overall over the year. So I have like a few over the year goals that are financial and output of work, and then I try to break those down into quarterly things. And I give myself enough wiggle room because that is something that I need to do, because I am very bad at sticking to original plans, and that's why I don't outline as much as some other people do. Caro asks, what are some things that help you overcome writer fatigue? Having awesome friends that let me vent, taking time out when I need to. So there's times when I'll drop away from social media for like a few days or even a week because I just need time to recalibrate myself and not have so much input from other things, because writer fatigue, to me, I'm interpreting that phrase as burnout, right? So unless I'm wrong and it's something different, but that's what I'm thinking of. So there's a couple things I do. What are your favorite characters to write? I like writing characters that have a strong sense of family who are flawed. And I used to love writing characters who were fatally flawed, but I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. So like the flaws are what makes us all interesting, right? Marquis Roberts asks, why are you such an attractive African-American woman? She get it from her mama. Oh, where she get them looks from? She get it from her mama. Oh, where she get that ass from? She get it from her mama. Jennifer Brown asks, what does your plotting process look like? Very threadbare to the point of being non-existent. Where have you lived beside West Virginia and Hawaii? That's it. Just West Virginia and Hawaii. Those are my places. S.C. Higgins asks, what was your dream job besides being an author / poet? Journalist. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? I'm not sure these days. It feels like everywhere has so much internal turmoil. I don't know where I would live. I want to travel all over, but I don't know where I'd want to put roots down. What are some places you think would be cool to write about but you haven't? I would like to write about Jamaica. I think that would be an interesting place to have a story. I've always been drawn to Ireland for some reason. I don't know if it's because of lager, but you know, maybe. CJ Bloyer asks, what is your least favorite aspect of writing? Editing. What is your favorite? Drafting. Always drafting. I love coming up with new ideas. Joey Paul asks, what got you into writing? I would say that what got me into writing was really my mom reading me stories when I was little and realizing that people made those stories and I wanted to do it too. Hysterical Blue 17 asks, one, what does your writing routine look like? These days, I try to wake up around between 5:30 and 6:30 and do some form of exercise, and then I try to write for 2 to 3 hours. And that's like the one part of the day that is definite. This is what you do. You get up, you do some type of exercise, and you draft for a couple hours. And then from then on, it's general mayhem and chaos. What are some of your other hobbies, and have you incorporated them into your writing? One of my first loves is libraries, and Isadora, she is a librarian, so I guess I have incorporated it in some ways. Leora Sophie asks, what do you publish? What do you do once you're done with the first draft? Do you ever worry about messages in your book being misinterpreted in a way that is really wrong, i.e. accidental transphobia? And apparently this is something that she's worried about. I am self-published. After my first draft, I give it a couple days rest, and then I go back and try to make it make sense. And I feel like in today's political climate, we are all, okay, maybe not all, but there's definitely some of us, like myself, who are worried that we're going to be misinterpreted, and that whatever our words are going to be interpreted in bad faith as by bad actors or people who just misinterpret what we're saying. And I just have to push through that, because there's no way of making everything that you say perfectly just unproblematic, or you don't offend anybody, and that it's just impossible. Someone's gonna take offense, someone's gonna hate what you do, someone's gonna get mad. It's inevitable. So I just had to make my peace with that and try not to. I had to be true to my work, true to my words, and I have to try to be as knowledgeable about whatever I'm writing about as possible, and just go from there. Eva writes, asks, what is being a writer like now as compared to before your first book came out? I had a very romanticized idea of what being a writer was going to be like, and it's much more work than I imagined. Fortunately, I enjoy the work, so that's fine, but before I'd written my book and published it, I hadn't really thought of what the whole writer life would look like. It was kind of like, write book, ? Make money, you know? So it's definitely different than what I expected. What distracts you most from writing? Myself. Would you be your biggest fan if you hadn't written the books yourself? I don't know. Am I my biggest fan now? This is an interesting question. Because the thing is, I'm not really a big fan, so to speak. Like, there's definitely books that I like to read. There's authors that I enjoy reading. But I don't know if I call myself a fan. I don't know. That's a very interesting question, though. Stevie Ray Cossie asks, if you could send back a message of kindness to yourself when you were first starting, what would it say? A message of kindness to myself. I would say, Tamara, I know you don't believe this, but this is your future self. Yes, you did get much fatter than you used to be. That's not kind. Let's try it again. I would say, hi Tamara, this is your future self. I know you don't believe it, but just try not to be a skeptic for once. And you need to listen to yourself when you are tired, or when you feel like you need to just take a break. It's okay to take a break. The world will not break if you take a break. Tracy Buckman asks, how has your style of writing changed over the years? Absolutely. It's changed as my worldview has changed and as my experience has changed. And what do you like to write about most? And what do you like to read about most? I like writing about like family and community interactions and the way people like work together. I think that people are fascinating, which sounds weird. Like I look at people as though I'm not one, but I recognize that I am one. But still, I think people are fascinating, and I love talking about people relationships. What do I like to read about most? I like to read about that most. I love reading about interesting mysteries and seeing how people like create them and kind of work their way around them, you know? Do you see any differences or similarities in your writing between West Virginia and Hawaii? Honestly, I think that the differences in my writing between now and when I was living in West Virginia is that my writing now is a lot less dark. And E. Southworth asked me a whole bunch of wonderful questions, but I'm only going to attack maybe a quarter of them. When are the second books in Mystic Eye series and Beach Mystery series being released, tentatively? In the beginning of next year. Are you sending out newsletters each month? I'm not getting them, if so I need to figure out what's up with my emails. Yes, I send out 1 or 2 newsletters per month. If you want to subscribe, there's a link in the description. And my newsletters might be going into your promo if you have Gmail or into spam. So I guess you have to put it on the safe list. But yeah, I've been sending them out, surprisingly enough. Why are you guys living in Hawaii? My math guy is working on his doctorate in math. Is there a good network of writer support groups in Hawaii? I think that there are writer support groups and networks. I didn't feel like I fit in. How are your wrists doing? I kind of neglected them this weekend and it hurts. So I'm wearing this right now, and then I have this little flexible one that I'm gonna wear while I'm out and about and driving and stuff. It like gives me room to be able to maneuver like driving a car, because this really is hard to do with it, or at least for me. Maybe other people are better at it than me, but yeah. What is your favorite writing software? I don't know about my favorite writing software, but the things that I use the most are I use Scrivener and Google Docs when I'm drafting. I tend to use Word for when I'm sending stuff to my editors, and I use Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid to help me with my editing process. And I also use Natural Reader so that I have the book read back to me, my manuscript read back to me as I'm editing. What games do you play? I play all sorts of games. Right now, like, I play, you know, games on my phone because I'm old and I think that they're fun. So there's one that I play on my phone called June's Journey, and then on the PS4 I'm playing a Sherlock Holmes story or game, but it's, you know, it's in like a story form. So let me see, the Sherlock Holmes game is called Sherlock Holmes the Devil's Daughter. So I play that one, and I'm also playing I'm looking at the screen as we're talking here. And there's this one game called Glass Masquerade Origins that is basically very beautiful with really pretty songs, and you're just kind of fitting pieces of the puzzle together. I find that really just soothing to play. We played The Witness, which was incredible. That was such a good game. And if anyone has played The Witness and you have something that is similar that you suggest, please recommend. We got The Taylor's Principle, and a lot of people have recommended that as like a follow-up to The Witness, and some people said it was much better, but it hasn't grabbed me like The Witness did. And then Thumper on VR is awesome. I love that game. And Tetris Effect. For the holiday season, I want to like just totally take a crap ton of time and take time off from doing everything and play Life is Strange and just marathon it, because I love that game. And also Just Dance. I love to dance. I am not good at it, but I love doing it. It's so much fun. And my fiance got me Just Dance 2020. So I think it's, and like last year he got me 2019. And I think now it's like our new thing. And that's how we brought in my birthday. We danced a bunch. Okay, last couple of questions. Where did you find those awesome red glasses and matching lipstick? Thank you so much. I like them too. And the red is Maybelline Pioneer, and I've also been wearing a red from Pat McGrath and the Jeffree Star X Shane Dawson Are You Filming? Kara got me that as an early gift for the holidays, which is amazing, and I've been wearing that. Right now I'm just wearing just a neutral color from ColourPop because my eyeshadow is so extra. Ooh, it's so glittery and sparkly and I love it. We're gonna go watch Knives Out. Yes, that's what it's called. We're gonna go watch Knives Out, and it's gonna be like 1:30 afternoon and I don't care. I've got all the makeup on and I feel fantastic, so I'm excited. We were gonna go earlier this weekend, but I wasn't feeling that great. Like, I was enjoying myself, but I wasn't, like, I feel like putting on makeup and going and doing stuff kind of feeling, do you know what I mean? So, but now I am, so let's go. There was one other question that I thought was pretty cool that she'd asked about. I have a whiteboard, but no idea what to write on it. What do you write on yours? Oh, and also, where'd you find the TARDIS blanket? I don't know. It was a gift. It's right here. I love that thing. And my fiance got it for me for my birthday one year. And yeah, I don't know where it came from. My whiteboard, when we're doing writing streams, and I'll put my numbers of words that I've written there. I also, if I get struck with the idea while I'm sitting there, I'll write that down and I add to-do list. The thing about my whiteboard is that it is a mess to everyone except for me. So it's just a hodgepodge, kind of like an idea place where I could throw the idea and be able to see it, as opposed to writing it in, like, in a pad or in a program, and I'll have to look that idea up later. Like, it's kind of like something that's immediate and pertinent to what's going to happen soon. But yeah, so that's why I put on my whiteboard. But I'm sure that there are people who have much better advice and who are much more strategic with the right whiteboarding, but I'm not. Thank you so much for asking me questions. I feel like, wait a second, no, that's not right. There's more. Where are they? Yeah. A.L. Williams Books asked, have you ever written erotica, even if it was just added content in your books? Yes, I used to write erotica mainly. And I'm a firm believer that you should explore the genres that are interesting to you. And erotica was one that I explored. In fact, a friend of mine and I, we were planning on starting a little bit of a publishing company, Sinful Dreams. Our Facebook is up and it doesn't really have a lot on there at the moment, but that was the plan a few years ago. But that was kind of what we were planning on doing. That the erotica market on Amazon kind of was popped a little bit, and it became a lot harder to gain traction while you were writing erotica and putting it out there. So that one kind of fell to the wayside. And the next question, what made you want to write cozy fiction? Well, I had written poetry, erotica, women's fiction, and horror. And I was looking at the books that were attracting my eye the most, that had been attracting my eye the most for a long time. And I always thought that they were just mysteries. But when I started really digging into what was grabbing my attention. It was this genre called cozies that I hadn't even really recognized was a thing. So once I realized that that had been where my interest was laying, and I was realizing that I was like consuming these books all the time, I wonder if I can write them. And I'm still working on becoming a better cozy author. I'm certainly nowhere near like at a pinnacle where I'm like, I got this down on lock. I don't, but I'm working on it, and it's fun, and I like writing these stories. So that's why. I think I'm recording. Hey everyone, this is editing Tamara, and I did forget a couple questions, so let me answer them very quickly, and then I can end out all this goodness. So 3Bs, Very Bad Books asked, if you could time travel, what age would you go visit yourself at and why? I would visit myself at probably 19 or 20. I would tell myself to have more self-confidence and to take that internship that I was worried about, and to tell off the history professor who was an actual racist bastard. All right, so, and from Chinita Roberts, how do you deal with inspiration overload? I have a ton of ideas floating around in my head, and sometimes it makes it very hard to focus. Sometimes my focus is incredibly divided, and the way my creativity kind of pans out is that I will come up with a bunch of ideas that are huge projects. So there will be a couple book ideas. There'll be like a podcast. There'll be some type of blog thing. There'll be some collaboration I want to do. There'll be all these different ideas that I want to implement. I can't do them all, so I have to figure out what really calls to me the most. What do I feel most inspired to do, so that I can see whatever that thing is to fruition? Because sometimes I'll have ideas that I love, but in practical speak, I probably won't have the drive to finish. In terms of ideas for stories and books, I write down everything, and then once I've written it down, I can go back to whatever it was I was originally thinking about and work on that thing. So like my plot buddies and things like that, I write them down so I won't think about them as much. I hope that's helpful. All right, editing Tamara out. And I think that covered everybody. I hope I didn't miss you. If I did, I am so sorry. I had no intention of doing that. I try to do screenshots of everything that I saw. So thank you again for submitting questions. It was really cool. I love doing these. I should make a playlist. I'll make a birthday Q&A playlist. I don't know how many will be on it, and I'll add it to it if you want to see the other questions I've answered in the past. And of course, miles may vary, because by now my opinions may have changed. I don't know. We all change as we grow older. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Tamara. I talk about books and writing. And if you want to support me on Patreon, I have a link in the description, and you certainly can. You can join my cozy community. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you do, go check it out. And all my socials and all that good stuff down there. Thank you so much. Cheers, and we'll see you in the next one.